Hey, I'm your host, Melissa, and I want to welcome you to Not Your Average Blonde podcast. I'm here to show you how to elevate your life to become the best version of yourself. I want to take you along your journey to be anything but average and step into your confidence era. Join me each week by subscribing and listening to Not Your Average Blonde podcast, and let's begin our journey to become anything but average. Tough times are inevitable. Whether it's a life-altering diagnosis, the end of a relationship, the loss of a job, or just a string of bad days, we all face moments that test us. And the truth is, no one gets through life unscathed. But here's one thing that makes all the difference: how you choose to show up when life gets hard. So in today's episode of Not Your Average Blonde, I'm diving into how to navigate the tough times without losing yourself. I'm your host, Melissa, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you follow my podcast, please continue to subscribe, and share with your friends. This greatly helps me out to get the word out there and my message that I am so excited to share with you. Today, I'm going to share how to ground yourself in who you are, build a mindset that doesn't break under pressure, and surround yourself with the right people so you don't have to go through it alone. If you've been feeling like life has been testing you lately, this episode is for you. Or if you know someone else is having a hard time, send this episode to them. I'm currently going through a very tough time. I just recently had a very negative medical diagnosis that has taken me out of work for several months and has significantly altered the course of my life, which is kind of wild. But I'm currently going through the early stages of healing, and it's been tough. It has been a lot. Some days are harder than others. I've had a lot of complications that have definitely, like I said, they have affected my life. And this experience has really been challenging everything that I believe, in the sense that it's just putting to test the things that I'm sharing with you, the things that I'm teaching, and the things that I personally believe. So far, I've been very grateful to have the foundation that I've had with building my mindset and fortifying myself and who I am as an individual, because these are the principles that are going to be able to get me through this tough time. So I want to start here today with tough times will happen. It's inevitable for all of us. And toughness, the degree of it, is all going to be relative to the individual and your unique life experience. But regardless, you're going to experience tough times because life, it's not linear. There are highs and lows, seasons of flow and seasons of friction. But what matters is how we prepare ourselves and respond when those low points hit. Because like I said, it's inevitable. They are going to hit at one point or another. And you can't always predict when life is going to throw something hard your way. But what you can do is you can prepare. And that preparation starts with those daily habits, the daily things that you are doing. But ultimately, that preparation starts with knowing who you are. I've gone through seasons where everything felt like it was falling apart. Man, I'm still pretty young. I'm only 33 and getting ready to turn 34 here soon. And I have been through so many things that people would consider midlife crises. Fortunately, I got pretty much all those done in my 30s. I just haven't hit the last major D, which is, disease. You've got divorce, debt, disease, all pretty bad things. Hit divorce and debt in my 20s, and then leaving my faith as well too. And then now I'm dealing with disease, which is the aftermath of a health scare. Like I mentioned before, got a very negative health diagnosis that resulted with me being hospitalized from having symptoms of stroke. They found some stuff going on in my brain, and it's going to be quite a road to recovery, but I'm handling it kind of day by day and taking it moment by moment. And I'm resting a lot of peace in knowing that I have built up, I have done the work. And thankfully and unfortunately, going through some of those other previous experiences, like I said, with, divorce, leaving my faith and dealing with negative people and stuff in my life, I have been able to build that foundation to be able to handle the individual aspects of navigating this current health scare. So because of in each of those moments, I was forced to assess or to reassess not just what was happening around me, but who I was because of it. I could have allowed each of those events to completely break me. And they did break me pretty good, but I took opportunity from those events to be able to rebuild myself into someone better and to build myself into someone who I want to become. And I have found that through those hard seasons are revealing. They show you where your roots are. They expose what's real and what's not. And most importantly, they teach you where you still need to grow. They also test the stories that you tell yourself. Am I capable? Am I worthy? Do I believe I can survive this? That internal dialogue is everything. It honestly drives me crazy when I hear people who use negative self-talk as motivation. They tell themselves you suck or I suck or whatever negative narrative. I don't even want to put that out there because that's not how I talk to myself. That's not how I love myself. It drives me crazy when I hear or see people who do that to themselves and they're like, oh, I use that to motivate myself. I'm like, why are you tearing yourself down? That's not going to motivate yourself long term. You're just hurting yourself. You're building that internal dialogue that's going to foster and reinforce that negative sense of who you are. You're going to continue eroding that sense of self-worth. Why are you doing that? Turn those stories and tell yourself positive things, because that hard time that you're going through, it's already going to strip you bare. They often do. They can really take you down to the bone, and they remove the distractions, the masks, the comfort. They demand that we face and confront ourselves honestly. And when you're stripped down to your core, what's left? That's the part you build from. And you want to feed yourself positive things. The more times you face those hard seasons, the more you realize survival is a skill. It really is a skill. Resilience, it's a muscle. It's a muscle that you need to flex and that you need to grow and stretch and stress and let it recover, because your ability to adapt and to pivot and to rise again, those are your superpowers. Those are your superpowers. Those are what are going to get you through those tough times. But if you don't know who you are, life will define that for you. Especially if you're giving yourself those negative narratives, life is going to feed off of that, because life, it usually won't be kind for that if you allow life to define that for you, if you allow other people to define who you are for you. So the first step in surviving hard seasons is doing the inner work during the calm ones. This means spending time in self-reflection. Understand your values. Know what makes you feel grounded. Pay attention to what triggers your anxiety and stress. Figure out what brings you peace. When you know these things, you'll be able to weather tough seasons without completely losing your center. If you have a chance, I want you to grab a piece of paper, like a pen right now, and reflect on those things. First off, take that time alone with your journal and be in that moment of self-reflection. What are your values? What makes you feel grounded? What elements, aspects of life help to ground you and center you back to yourself? What are those triggers that trigger your anxiety or that stress you out? Write those down too, because those are good to know. And then write down what brings you peace. What parts of life bring you peace? For me, things that bring me peace is that simple moment in the morning. I love having slow mornings where I can get up, I can journal, I make a cup of coffee. What brings me peace is when I can slow down and sit outside and enjoy the nice morning with my cup of coffee and just take in the elements like around me. Ideally, there's water like nearby. I love hearing like the birds. I love having plants. I love having plants like around me so much. I will have like a book. But it's like taking that slow moments and enjoying that coffee and taking in my environment around me. That's one of those things that bring me peace. So what brings you peace? When you know those things, you're going to be able to weather those tough seasons without completely losing your center. For me, I know I need solitude. I need movement. I need nourishing food. And I need boundaries. I know I need real conversations, not that surface level bullshit. I need real connections. I need my people. Knowing those things about yourself helps you to create a foundation that holds you when the world around you is shaking. And in those tough times when they hit, it's easy to lose your sense of direction. And that's why being deeply rooted in your value matters, and understanding yourself. Because when those tough times hit, you're not just reacting, you're responding from a place of clarity. Your identity becomes your compass. You start to ask different questions. What do I need right now to feel supported? What part of myself needs to be nurtured? You begin to listen inward rather than chasing answers outside of you. So for me right now, as I'm going through all this medical stuff, it has rocked me a little bit, but I also feel very calm in the sense that I'm embracing those things that like I can't control. And there's a lot of power in that, of giving up control of those things that, recognizing that like I can't control everything, and trusting that, okay, the universe is putting me through this experience. What are the lessons I can learn out of it? But also it's forcing me to drive internally and to ask myself those questions. I've, have had to take those moments, and sometimes it's each day. What do I need right now to feel supported? Do I need space? Do I need to go, have a little bit of like isolation so I can just kind of retreat inwards and process like the emotions that like I'm feeling and work through, the pain that like I'm going through? I will ask myself, what part of me needs to be nurtured? Do I need to make a phone call to a friend who's going to, listen and provide me like that comfort? Do I need to talk to a mentor who's going to give me that encouragement or build me up when, in those moments when I'm feeling hopeless or like I don't have a future, or if I'm scared that I'm not going to survive this? It's taken those moments I begin to listen inward and understand myself. When you ask yourself those questions, you start to ground yourself. And when you know yourself, you can fall back on those things, because those elements are going to ground you. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. It's built through those daily habits and conscious choices. And you can start small. Start with journaling. Listen to podcasts and take action. Take time to meditate. Take 10 minutes of quiet. Start asking better questions and build that trust with yourself. And start doing that not during the times of chaos, but do that during the times of success and triumph, or those calm times, those calms in between the storms and successes. Another important factor that I briefly mentioned was your community. We are not meant to do life, especially these hard parts, we're not meant to do it alone. There's this narrative that glorifies doing it all on your own, but the real strength comes from knowing when to lean on others. Now, this is something that I still struggle with because I grew up with that mindset of you have to do it alone. No one's going to be there to save you. No one's going to help you. And yes, at the end of the day, you're the only one that has to pick yourself up. But there is strength that comes from leaning on others. It's reaching out to, that mentor and have that phone call of encouragement, or to that friend that you can talk to, that's going to give you like that listening ear. As I've gotten older, like my circle has gotten smaller. It has gotten so small, it's crazy. But I love it that way. I don't need dozens of people around me, but what I do need are the right people. I need the ones that I can call at 2 a.m., the ones who will show up for me and who can also give me that tough love, and the ones who remind me of who I am when I forget, because we all have those moments. You don't need a crowd. What you need is a few safe spaces. So find your people, lean on your mentors, build your tribe with intention, and be someone else's safe space too. Relationships and connections are a two-way street. What I've realized is that true support isn't just about someone listening to your pain. It's about having people in your life who speak truth to you, people who remind you of your strength, people who help you see your blind spots, and who love you through your mess. Support systems are also about diversity. You want people who offer different perspectives, a mentor who can challenge your thinking, a friend who can hold space without judgment, and a coach or a therapist who can guide you with the tools. You also need boundaries within your support systems as well. Just because someone is close to you doesn't mean they're healthy for you during a bad time. For me, one of those examples is my family. There's some people in my family that I have to have very good boundaries with, because having them super close to me all the time isn't really healthy. They have some caustic traits that I don't want to adopt. I've learned how to work through those, and they're not in a place where they want to work through theirs. And I've come to recognize that negative energy and that negativeness, I don't want that around me. Now, they may be going through tough times themselves, and maybe they just can't be there in the way that I need them to show up for me. But that's where boundaries come into place, and you have to protect your energy and be respectful of theirs as well too. But be mindful of who you go to for advice and comfort, because those hard times, they're going to drain you. And that's why you have to be so discerning with who and what you give your energy to. Who are you spending time with? What are you consuming online? What habits are you reinforcing every day? Be protective of your time and who you give your time to. I am extremely protective of my time and who and what I give my time and focus to. A large part of that is because when I'm with someone, I give them my all in that span of time that I'm sharing with them. Social media, it's everywhere. And it's so easy to get caught in mindless doom scrolling. I'm very guilty of this. And this is something I'm having to put in extra boundaries to be able to protect my peace, and especially protect my time, is with social media. Be conscientious of what accounts you are following. Are you following those accounts that inspire you and uplift you? Or are you following accounts that make you feel terrible about yourself or push you into a state of comparison? Next are your habits. Your habits build who you are. It's the little things that add up and compound. Be mindful of the habits that you have in your life and how they affect you. These things matter more than ever when life gets heavy, because you're already working with limited energy. Don't waste it on people who drain you or content that adds to your anxiety. Your peace is sacred. Guard it. Create space for the things that bring you back to yourself. And that might be journaling, working out, long walks, music, prayer, meditation, whatever it is, whatever connects you to your inner compass, do more of that. This also includes protecting your time. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't apologize for needing rest, space, or silence. Just because others are loud doesn't mean their noise deserves your attention. You have to get really honest about where your energy leaks are. Is it a toxic friendship? A never-ending scroll on social media? Late nights that leave you drained? Every decision you make in hard times should be filtered through this lens. Does this help me come back to myself? If not, it's okay to pause it or let it go. Your energy and time are some of your most valuable resources, so spend them wisely. Especially as you get older, this becomes more critical. You understand this concept more. I know in my 20s, I was terrible with my time. Like parts of my 20s, I managed my time very well, almost too well in the sense that it was too much and I was so overburdened and was just bouncing from one thing to another that I didn't leave enough time for myself and to create that space to understand and grow myself. But I'm finding like in my 30s, I'm refining like my routines and I'm being more deliberate in how I use my time, especially the time that I give to others, but then also the time that I use for myself. Because like I have recognized now that my energy and my time, they are valuable and I want to spend them wisely. We only get one life and energy and time are things we can't buy. And that's where I have to exercise more discernment. Discernment isn't just about saying no. It's about recognizing the things that do bring you joy and lean into them unapologetically. Beauty, laughter, connection, creativity. Don't abandon those things when life gets hard. That's when you need those things the most. And you're going to flex your discernment of how you spend your time differently between when you're going through those hard times and then also in those times of peace. But just be conscientious and be aware of that. Now, you've heard me say this before, and I'll keep saying it. Your mindset will make or break you. This is why I created this podcast, because I fully believe that like your mindset is so powerful. Your mindset is everything. We're human, which means we have thousands of thoughts a day, tens of thousands of thoughts. It's crazy. And you can't control all of them. But what you can control is you can choose which ones you believe. A growth mindset, it changes everything. A growth mindset, as defined by Dr. Carol Dweck, is the belief that abilities, intelligence, and potential can be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. And people with a growth mindset, they embrace challenges, they learn from feedback, and they see failures as an opportunity for growth. On the other hand, a fixed mindset is the belief that your qualities are static, that you're either good or bad at something, and that no amount of effort will change that. People with a fixed mindset tend to avoid challenges, fear failure, and feel threatened by the success of others. For me personally, I've learned when I'm around people who have a fixed mindset, it's kind of throws up a flag for me that I have to put more boundaries in place when I'm working with these people, because that's not the energy I want in my life. That's not the mindset that I want to adopt. And like common phrases that you may hear someone with a fixed mindset are, this is just who I am. I failed, so I must not be good enough. This is just the way it is. I can't change. It's always been like this. These are the people who avoid challenges and those things that cause them discomfort. They use those phrases that I just rattled off. Man, they drive me crazy so much. These people, they get discouraged easily and they quit. And when you quit, that's where the point of failure is. These people, they're threatened by the success of others. This is another one that kills me. I see a lot of women who feel threatened by other women and they choose to tear them down. They spread rumors or gossip, or they're mean and cruel to the other woman. And I don't understand it, because there's room for us all. Life is already hard enough. Life is already going to kick your ass. Why add more hardship to their life, or why spread that negativity? Guess what? Karma's a bitch. It's going to come back. It's going to come back to you. Why not look at that other woman, that other person, and see them as someone that validates that it is, whatever that is, it's possible. It's achievable. View them as inspiration. The fact that that person reached that level is possible. Those with a fixed mindset also view effort as pointless. They view it as a waste of energy, because they're living in that mindset of can't change. It's always been like this. This is just the way it is. They also need that external validation to feel worthy. So they put their sense of self-worth in the hands of other people in the world, which is never going to go well, because there's so many people out there that just want to tear you down and that just want to cast that negativity because they're so unhappy with themselves. Now, on the flip side, a growth mindset, some of the phrases that you may hear or green flags that you may see or hear are, what can I learn from this? This is hard, but I'll get through it. I've overcome things before. I can do it again. I failed, so what can I learn from this? I can always improve and grow. Those are the growth mindset. They persevere through setbacks. They get back up again. They are inspired by the success of others. They view efforts as a path to mastery. They create self-worth from within. They don't turn to the world for that external validation. Yes, it's nice to receive, but that's not the foundation. Their foundation was created by themselves. It was created through those habits and through those mindsets, and that continuous work that they do during those quiet times, but also when they're going through those hard times. They're able to pull from those lessons and use it to build themselves more. As you're going through tough times, navigating them is going to require a growth mindset. It's essential. Growth mindset, it's that internal compass that says, yes, this is hard, but I can learn something from this. I'm capable of growing through this. Your thoughts, they shape your reality. So get curious about the thoughts that come up. Ask, why do I believe this? Is this even true? You're allowed to challenge your own beliefs. In fact, you should. That's where the real growth happens. Mindset isn't about toxic positivity. Now, don't get me wrong here. It's not about ignoring your pain, but it's about recognizing that even in pain, you have choices. You can suffer with a purpose. You can grow through struggle. You can choose hope without denying reality. That's one thing as I'm going through this medical experience right now. I'm not ignoring my pain. There are definitely some days when I just have to sit down with it and just let it wash over me. But I recognize that I'm going through this pain. I'm going through this experience. I have this mindset that I'm going to get through it. It's going to end someday. It's going to be a long road, but I know it's going to end. And this is giving me an opportunity to be able to grow and to rebuild. And it's welcoming change into my life, which I knew change was coming. I just didn't expect it to be this drastic or to be in this way. It's a complete pivot. It's affecting my career. It's affecting like my life, like how I live life. And like I said, I was not expecting this dramatic of a change, but I've had to really cultivate my mindset, which I've done through all the previous tough times, and then taking those times during the calm moments to build myself and to work on my mindset and to create that growth mindset when it comes to challenges. I can choose hope without denying the reality of my situation. And this takes work, but the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You begin to rewrite the narrative that you tell yourself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect like every single time. Like there's definitely moments that as I'm going through this, it gets hard. Those negative thoughts do creep in, but I have to recognize those negative thoughts and then redirect them. Or like I said, just let them wash over me or turn to a friend or a mentor to help talk me through those moments. There's a lot of tools that I have in my tool bag that I can use to be able to navigate this, because I don't see myself as a victim of my circumstances. And it's the same for you. Having a growth mindset, it's going to take work, but the more you do it, the more natural it's going to become. You begin to rewrite the narrative that you tell yourself. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and you start seeing yourself as the author of your story. And for me, it's the same thing. I'm the author of my story. I'm the one who I get to choose. I get to choose how I'm going to react to this. I'm going to choose how I'm going to overcome this current obstacle that I'm facing right now, this tough time. But I'm optimistic. I do believe that things are going to be better. I do believe that life is going to be so good here in a bit once I get through all of this. And I truly believe that your mindset, it sets the tone. And I trust those habits that I have built and that I cultivate in my life is what's keeping me grounded in this mindset, this growth mindset, especially right now when life is chaotic. It's one thing to think differently. It's another to live differently. And the way you live, the choices you make every day are what determines whether that mindset takes root or fades away when things get tough. This is where the real work happens, in the everyday. So let's talk about how to build daily habits that don't just get you through hard times, but actually fortify you for them. Because your habits, they are your armor. They either prepare you or leave you vulnerable when life gets rough. I actually had this conversation with a friend about a week and a half ago. I'm going through this really tough time. And I told him I'm actually kind of grateful that I went through all the shit that I've been through in my past, because as scary as all this health stuff has been, and, being in the hospital and getting out of the hospital and going back and all these like doctor's appointments and the unknowns like for the future, I feel a sense of calm underneath it all, and almost a sense of peace that like things are going to be okay. But I also trust that those habits that I built like into my life, that's what's helping me get through like the day to day. I have those like I can lean on. Going through those challenges that I've had in the past, those have given me the tools and have built this mindset to be able to deal with this tough time that I'm going through right now. Like I said, it's really has helped prepare me for when life gets rough. And life is rough right now. It's tough. It definitely is not easy. There's some days I can't get out of bed because I'm in so much pain, or I'm in tears from the pain, or I'm frustrated with the medical system, or having to go through this, or getting frustrated with the opportunities that I'm losing out on professionally. This is completely going to change my professional trajectory. And it was not in the way that I expected, but I can choose to lay in that victim mindset of, oh, this is being done to me and I'm losing out on this future and woe is me. Or I can view it as, okay, this was an answer to some questions that I've been asking and wondering about my professional progression. This closed some doors, but that means that, okay, this door closed, but what other doors have I not tried yet? What other opportunity exists out there? So this mindset, it has really helped me out so much with navigating this, and it has what has gotten me through those tough times in the past. And I attribute that foundation to the daily things I've done. So what do you do every day to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically? For me, it's movement. I need to move my body, whether it's going for a run, throwing weights around, or Pilates, or going for a walk, even taking my dog out and we go out for a walk. It's, surrounding myself with good people, having conversations with those who inspire me, who expand my mind, and who are positive and uplifting to be around. It's keeping boundaries. I fiercely protect my peace. It's nourishing my body. You only get one body and you are what you eat. I want to put good food in my body because I feel better when I do. I feel terrible when I eat trash. Why would I do that? It's knowing what drains me and what fills me. Your life is built by what you do consistently. So make sure you're creating a life that can hold you up during a storm. If you don't do the inner work during the easy times, it's going to be harder when life hits. But if you do the work ahead of time, you'll be more resilient. You're going to rebound more. You'll still feel the pain, yes, but you won't crumble. You'll know how to breathe through it, how to ask for help, how to keep going. I look at this time, so two completely different scenarios, but they were both still very tough times. And I look back on my divorce, and I was really young when I got divorced. I was 25, and then here I am going through this health crisis at 33, almost 34. And I am navigating both of these experiences so differently. When I was 25 and going through my divorce, it was tough. It was so hard. But I didn't have that foundation in place. I didn't trust myself. I didn't even know who I was. And I didn't have good friend networks. I was so insecure. I was relying so much on the world to provide validation. And I was listening so much to others, but not listening to myself. I didn't have good habits. I didn't have routines that was building me up. I didn't take that time to get to know myself. And going through my divorce, it rocked me pretty hard because I didn't have those skills. I didn't have even the right mindset. It was tough. I didn't have the right tools that I have now. And navigating that experience compared to navigating this one now, it's a night and day difference. I know it's not the same, but they were both tough times that really challenged. They're both challenging who I am and my character. And navigating my divorce, I was very insecure, and it took me a long time to go through that, to leading up to the divorce, going through the divorce, and then post-divorce and healing and stuff. My recovery took so long from that because I had to do that work. Life really pushed me down on the ground, and I had to get up and I had to do that work. I had to figure out, okay, let's clear out all this bullshit. Who is Melissa? And I had to break myself down to figure out who I truly am. And I was able to build myself into a woman that I love and someone who I am confident, I am comfortable with myself. And I've learned all of these things. And that took a while to build and a lot of refinement and other tough times too, but not as major as that one or what I'm going through now. But as I'm facing this experience right now, it's, yes, I'm still going through the pain, but I'm not crumbling. I'm able to breathe through it. I know when to ask for help, and I know how to keep going. And I have a very positive mindset with this, and I'm still optimistic about my future. Whereas when I was going through my divorce with my future, I had so many unknowns of I don't know if I can make it. There was so much self-doubt that was there. But as I'm going through this current tough time with my health, I may have some limiting factors going into my future, have some lifelong impact from this. But I know I'm going to be able to navigate it. I know I'm going to be able to handle it. And I know the woman that I am. I know who Melissa is, and I know that I'm going to be able to handle that. And I find a lot of peace and comfort in that and knowing how to keep going. So going back to you guys, start with what you know works for you. You don't need an elaborate routine. Make those small changes. What you need are those consistent rituals that keep you grounded, whether it's the morning walks with the podcast, taking the time to journal. There's so many journaling prompts and exercises. I'm terrible at journaling. I bought one just for this medical stuff to help me work through some things because this has triggered a couple of childhood stuff that I didn't realize were there, but it is, and I'm working through it. And journaling, I'm trying to get better with it. I'm trying to embrace it more, but there is a lot of power in the written word, especially as you're the one who's writing the written word and healing through it. Movement's another piece. Like I mentioned, going on morning walks. I typically, part of my routine, I will get up and Q, that's my dog, that's her name. Her and I will go for a walk in the morning and we'll go for a walk in the evening. I have a daily step goal that has also been great. It's given me something positive to look forward to and a goal that I can work towards every single day. Now, some days, like yesterday, I couldn't meet my goal. I was so exhausted, but I gave my best. And when I went to bed last night, I didn't meet my goal, but I know I tried. I know I gave my best while still listening to my body and understanding the limitations that I have right now. Your other goals could be, hydration and nourishing your body appropriately, reflection. These things, I'm telling you, they're not luxuries, but what they are lifelines, both in the times of calm as well as like the times of chaos, those tough times. So when you build your days, build them with intention. Don't just react to life. You shape it. You shape life. Don't react to it. It sucks when you're reactive to life because life is just going to throw you around and just kick your ass. And it's going to be tough getting up each time. But when you set your intention, you set your day, when you focus like on your mindset, you are the one who shapes life. You're the one who drives it. Even in chaos, you have those routines that are going to anchor you, that remind you of who you are. You don't train for a marathon the day of the race. You build endurance over time. And life works the same way. The work isn't always glamorous. It looks like holding your boundary when it's uncomfortable, being mindful when someone cuts you off in traffic, choosing not to spiral when someone disrespects you, recentering after a setback. This is where the strength is built. This is where the mindset work happens. When the next hard season comes, and it will, you will be ready. You will be anchored in who you are. You will have your people and you will trust yourself because you know yourself. You took that time. And here's the thing. The more times you go through this process, the more confident you become. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone who barely survived, but as someone who knows how to survive. Because I'm telling you, those hard times, they will come. But if you've done the work, they won't break you. Those hard times, they'll refine you. They're inevitable, but so is your ability to rise. The tough seasons don't define you. Like I said, they refine you. They shape you into someone who's more grounded, more resilient, more you. So if you're in it right now, I want you to remember you don't have to do this alone. You are not your thoughts. The way you think determines the way you feel. You get to choose what you believe, and you're allowed to create a life that supports you, even in the hard seasons. So thank you so much for joining me today on Not Your Average Blonde. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone you love, leave a review, and let me know what resonated most. And also let me know what topics you want to hear about in the future. I love doing this podcast and sharing my life experiences with you and some of the skills I've learned. And I'm also willing to learn more stuff. So share that with me. What topics do you want to hear about? You're stronger than you know, and the tough times, they don't last, but you're going to because you are doing that work. So until next time, take care of yourself and keep showing up. You've got this.